This is the Destiny 2 News and Drama Weekly Podcast, where we break down everything that's happened this last week in Destiny 2. I'm your host, Lucky 10P. This is my co-host, Crimson.
Yo.
And we're going to break down everything from April 1st, 2025 to now, which is April 6th. So we start at the reset and we move forward because, you know, the Destiny reset's kind of when the week starts. So we're going to start from the beginning and talk about everything that's happened, especially those spicy topics, because there was actually some good stuff this week. Before we jump in, though, we should also mention that there was a bunch of marathon news. So even though this is the Destiny 2 podcast, we will, at the end, talk about marathon stuff. So if you're interested, if you've been seeing all this stuff on Twitter, we're going to start talking about that. Just because Bungie has not been cooking a ton this week in Destiny 2, so we might as well talk a little bit about what's going on in that game. Yeah. All right. From the beginning, the first topic we had written down here, we had the Court of Blades soft lock this week. Was that not fixed?
No,
I don't think that started this week.
They're looking into it. Yeah, no, the first couple things are just like Act 3 stuff in general.
Yeah,
with
Act 3,
soft lock,
how did they mess that up?
Tragic. I don't know. Well, because they changed the spawns from Taken to Hive, or no, Dread to Hive, and they said that was the issue because now they're changing it to Taken to like fix it. So I don't know how that causes that, but whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah, there must be some, functionality, some behind the scenes spaghetti code that we don't know, but that was an interesting way to start off Act 3 and this Tuesday. Definitely was an odd one.
Yeah.
This was the launch of Act 3 was this week, and I was kind of thinking like, the pace, and I was like, oh, there's going to be a lot to do this week, and it was kind of like, no, I guess. Obviously we're late into the episode, so we shouldn't expect too much, but you're like late, but there's also like this new thing, and it was kind of like Barodiad and what was it? Barodiad, Catalyst,
Sunless
and then
Cell.
Sunless Cell. Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, well, because they gave out like all the guns in Act 2 was like that was all the rest of them, so there's nothing to really chase.
Yeah,
now, that's fine. I'm not really.
Which maybe wouldn't bother me if Ride of the 9 was like right around the corner, but it's like 5 weeks from now. So I was
I was really thinking week 4.
Yeah.
It is not week 4.
We're waiting a while for it. And
yeah.
And I'm not sure what fills the next 4 weeks, but should be an interesting time to say the least.
Yeah, it's like probably like an hour of story most for the next 2 weeks, and then like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's an interesting release schedule for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be dry. I feel like they maybe front loaded everything that they had, maybe a little too much.
Yeah, I agree.
And so now we're gonna be really reeling, but maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe you front load, gives people more time to get the loot they want, and then obviously you have the option to go play Warframe in the meantime. So you just go play that. The secondary topic that you put in here, I thought was actually interesting. Point of discussion here is the Sunless Cell has returned. A D1 classic, one that I personally loved a lot. I have very fond memories doing this in the original Destiny many years ago, and its return hits that nostalgia. You're like, oh,
it's a very 1-to-1 up until like the boss fight mix up, but it's really similar.
The nostalgia is there, but the difficulty though, right? And the current power creep.
See, so I know it was like a big issue with a lot of people. Like I saw like Sweat and Dado, they were like, it's way too easy, like it should be hard. And I'm sitting here like, because this is from a GM perspective, like sure, I like a hard GM, but ideally I'm gonna farm a GM. So I much prefer when it's like 5 minutes and I can get in, get out, like get the gun. And this one's fun too. So I have like no issue with this one really. Like it's fun, it's fast paced. There's not like any boring mechanics. It's just kind of like clearing rooms. It's literally just the D1 strike, which doesn't play that great in D2 considering where we're at. We're playing like a functionally different game at this point.
Yeah.
But I like it. I thought it was great. The location, the lighting and everything was really
lighting
nice.
Was surprisingly good actually, yeah.
Because like the Cosmodrome port sucked lighting wise. The Dreadnought looks outstanding. So I don't know what they changed, but I mean, props to them.
With people thinking that the Sunless Cell is too easy, I can't help but feel like we are power creeping. Obviously, you get the real idea of how much we're power creeping when you play like when the Vault of Glass recently has come back into rotation. You're like, I remember when the Fatebringer was the best gun in the game, and it was Outlaw Firefly. That's not even a good one. No origin trait, no mod on it. that's not even a good gun now, you know. And
Yeah,
of
that's just
course,
a shit roll.
that's a bad roll of a gun. And that was the meta. That was the peak gun of Destiny 1 in its first year. Like that was like you needed that, you wanted that. Obviously exotics, you know, aside, like in terms of legendaries, that was like the Fatebringer, you know. It has that
Yeah.
shine to it. And so you see the power creep has happened. And now you also have the power to match the power creep, the activity has to have a sort of power creep. So it's like Grandmasters used to be crazy. I mean, we were doing Sadia, what am I thinking of? The Corrupted. That we were doing that one, and I remember like it was like 30-40 minutes and an efficient run, and we would often die. And it was like, yeah,
Well,
you just died.
That one's a special case because they changed it to make it easier. Like half the ads don't
Now,
spawn
yes,
anymore,
yeah.
and all the champions that were snipers
But
have
I'm thinking
like little
originally,
stasis blinkers.
it was so difficult.
So that one had changes to it to make it easier. But something like Proving Grounds now gets absolutely ran through, whereas
Yeah.
like on launch, that shit was like 35
It was
minutes
tough.
of
It was
hell.
tough. It was at
Sitting up
least
there
a
like
9
Ursa
out of 10.
barricade.
Yeah, the tank room was crazy. Yeah, Ursa, yeah. That was a different, you know. So now I'm like, so Grandmasters are kind of like where a master would be a few years ago, and contest is like the new like Grandmaster. And I feel like we could probably predict a pattern with Destiny where it's like 3 years from now there's, you know, Grandmaster contests. You know, I don't know, like it's like
Oh hell no, bro. 70 power under, bro. I'm good.
I'm just saying, like, that's kind of like if we want to keep getting more powerful, which you do, you want your next hand cannon to be more powerful than the current Fatebringer, then the activities have to scale up accordingly to some degree, right? Like, if we just get more powerful and contest stays what it is now, then eventually we're just going to, like, I mean, even with the last contest in the dungeon, when they brought it back the second time, it got smashed through like a joke, right? Like, it was effortless. People are low manning it, like, so it's like we're already rapidly approaching this, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like content, it's like power, it's just power creep and efficiency where we can just handle these activities easily. And Sunless Cell was a good example of that, and I think that was a good topic you brought up, where it's like Sunless Cell is back. It's a Grandmaster. This should be, you know, somewhat challenging. Maybe we can know the ropes a little bit, the terrain, but it was just effortless, you know, like first try clear, barely dying. You know, there was one ogre that had like way too much health for some bizarre reason.
Dude, I love that guy.
But other than him, there was like no twists or anything, you know. And
no, I mean, like, I agree. Like, I think GMs should be hard just because of like their nature, but I'm so fine if they're easy. Like, I much prefer if they're easy.
Obviously, you know, like we want to beat things, but I think that you want them to be easy, but then you also kind of want, there's a not a gatekeeping side, but there's like a level of like earning your stripes, where like you want to have a weapon in the game. You want to be like, look, this weapon, this god roll, I worked really hard for this. Very few people have this, you know, like 5% of the people in the Destiny have this, or less, right? And that's a nice feeling at times. It's gatekeeping to some degree, though, if you think about it, but it is a nice feeling to just have like aspirational content, something that's truly difficult. And right now there's not really anything truly difficult. I struggle to find things difficult unless you create your own thing where you're like soloing the witness, like you and Bog on My Dog and crazy people, you know. But there's no actual reward in that other than a pure flex. There's not like a loot drop or an emblem.
From like a difficulty perspective, I don't even think Red in the 9 will be that hard, honestly. Like, even on like the super hard mode, I mean, we played contest-ish. I mean, it wasn't finished, but it didn't really feel that like difficult, even just like from a power perspective. Like, I felt pretty comfortable just playing at that level. So we'll see. But as long as like the contest releases of like a new raid, new dungeon are still like at the quality of like Crota, Salvations, Vespers, Sundered, I'm fine. I'm fine with everything else being easy, because those 4 are crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. It's at an interesting crossroads, you know. We're just so efficient, we just understand everything, you know. There's all these charts and everything, and everyone just knows. It's like so different. It just makes you laugh sometimes when you think about like those first few years of Destiny 1, because we just didn't know anything. We're just like, what is the best gun? No one even asked that question. Like very few people were just like, this gun's insane, and this gun's insane, and all the guns are insane, and we're just like, what? Like, and then eventually we're like, oh, Galahorn. And then that was kind of the start of the meta. Like truly G-Horn like shifted people, and we're like, oh, like this is the best exotic. And then it shifted away from it to other things, and we're like, okay, well, okay, and then so on and so forth. But now here we are today. The next part you mentioned, which is an interesting one, that we had the Baro Dyad Catalyst RNG. So you had to land in one of the 3 locations, and you have to go to the connecting locations as complete RNG. And
Yep.
Bungie literally shot themselves in the foot, which is so funny. I read your comment here and I just realized how bad that is. So
Yeah.
you have to get over to the new section, which is called my brain. What's it called?
The whole breach?
The whole breach, yes. I was like, my brain not working. I was like, I was gonna call it Barrow. I don't know for some reason.
You gonna call it the gun?
The gun, yeah. I was like, it's the gun. But so whole breach, you have to get over there, and you could RNG not make it. Someone in my chat said it took them 3 hours. They didn't make it, so that's pretty crazy.
Dude, it took Rikakis like 8. He DM'd me at like 9 p.m. saying he just got it. I was like, that's crazy, bro.
That's actually unbelievable. And so then people figured out a nice way to mastermind and fall through the map. You can oob and get over there. That was nice. Clyde was the first person I saw post that, but maybe others. But so that was cool. And then now they made it so you can spawn in that place. But the problem is that Barodiad doesn't initially start there, so you have to get back to the trenchway for Barodiad. Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because they said like later, I think it was a couple of days ago, that like the founts and hull breach are intended to be like landing zones, but they just weren't.
Oh, really?
So they're fixing that. Yeah, which means the founts has just been bugged for like 2 months now.
The founts has been bugged forever. Then what the hell? You're telling me all this time?
I thought it was weird that you couldn't land there, but I was like, whatever.
I really thought that was weird. In fact, I relaunched initially trying to find it, and I launched like 20 times, and I was like, okay, I guess this is just not an option.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, no, they straight up said like, oh, they should be able to be launched from.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they're changing that, and right now, this is a later topic, I guess, but I'll just segue into it now. They made it so you can get the hull breach every time on launch until I think Tuesday.
Gotcha.
Which is nice, but it's also screwing the gun over more. Because as far as I'm aware, there isn't, to start the quest, you need to be an explorer and find that little blight that pulls you into it. And do the puzzle. As far as I'm aware, there isn't one of those in the hull breach. So now you have to load into the hull breach and then RNG a spawn of Trenchway or Hall of Souls that has the blight. So there's a chance you just, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing as RNGing the hull breach with the secret. Now you're trying to RNG one of the other two with the exotic spawn.
For those that didn't get Barrow, of course, but most people would have gotten it by now, considering how long it's been in the episode. There will be a small portion of people that funny enough, you know, didn't get FOMO basically, but they won't be able to get it, or it will be more difficult for them to get it. Maybe we'll have to give the reverse oob for them so they can oob back to the trenchway and get
there you go.
But that is pretty funny topic right there. Now we're on to the drama and the spicy stuff. This was this was so good. This was like a blessing of comedy. Like the fact that Twitter is free.
Story.
You can pay for Twitter, but the fact that Twitter is free and that people posted this stuff unironically and didn't even delete it either, like, it's just a blessing, truly. So the drama for this week, chat. And if you have questions or comments, tag us on Twitter. We have a post. All of your questions and comments will be read.
I want to preface by saying there's not a single hero in this story. Like, I think everybody's just a villain at this point outside of the girl. It was fucking crazy.
So a guy just randomly decides to post on Twitter saying, you know, what the heck? I got banned for no reason. I was on vacation.
He came home from vacation. Yep, there it is.
At Bungie, at DMG, at Bungie help. You know, like, you know, and a lot of people backed him up. They're like, what? There's no way. This guy is legit. And other people saying, you know, you're win trading and whatever. You know, Twitter is like, you never know what theories people are gonna work up.
Yeah.
So I don't know the guy enough to say one way or the other, but it gets enough attention that literally the Destiny 2 team responds, and that never happens. So you know when they respond that they're laying down the ban hammer heavy, and they just respond with the URL to the code of conduct, which is a weird way of responding. Bro. Because when they responded before to like Bakken Gangster, right? They were like, we reviewed with our team again and we triple checked. I remember it was like something like that. Remember the triple check thing or whatever?
Yeah, I remember that.
And like they said, like we confirmed that you definitely have broken terms of service and you are legitimately banned, and like that was it. And they said like this is our final statement on the matter, right? And that was like, you know, like they confirmed it. Then this instance they're like, you know what? Go read the code of conduct again, you know, which the code of conduct is so silly. Yeah, they're kind of trolling him, right? The code of conduct is so silly. I've read it here at a few times now, and one of them says like you're not allowed to put Destiny 2 in the title of any of your videos. So I guess we're absolutely cooked right now.
Oh my god, dude, we need to leave the country.
Yeah, like, and like everyone puts Destiny 2 in the title or talks about Destiny 2, like my opinions of Destiny 2, you know, what I think of Destiny 2.
Yep.
It's like the
Are you
code of
not
conduct
supposed to
is,
the title of the name of it
and
whatever.
I get where it comes from. Like it's lawyer speak where they have that power because they have patented the
Yep.
name, right? So like they
Mhm.
technically have the power for anyone that uses the term Destiny 2 that they don't like to completely end you, you know, just completely shut down whatever it is that you're doing. Your video, your content, your channel, anything. You just get shut down. Legal notice, everything.
Yeah.
So they have that power and they're kind of like clarifying that power, but it's like, you know, it just seems silly because like some of the terms of service are a bit silly, but they put the URL there and then they respond again with a screenshot of it because the guy's like, give me an actual reason. Stop with the URL, which is a fair response, I guess, because this guy is like really kind of advocating he's innocent.
Yeah, I mean, like most games, if you get banned, they just tell you the reason, like in game. Like there's a note with
Yeah.
why, and I think everyone like deserves to know why they got banned, or at least. So this is a interesting way to go about it, to say the least.
Yeah, and it seems
Continue.
like maybe if it was a high profile, like let's say like, you know, let's say freaking Asdacross got banned. I'm sure they would give a reason, right? Like they would talk about it. He's not
Yeah.
going to get banned. He hasn't done anything wrong. But I'm saying like in that situation. But if like some truly like someone that no one knows at all, they're probably not getting that reason. And it might seem like unfair, like, oh, streamer privileges and stuff. But it's like we just have
Right.
historically seen that. We saw Bakken Gangsta. I'm not saying he deserved a response. I'm just saying that they actually did give a response. You know what I'm saying? These like high profile bans, these like content creators with like big audiences, like getting banned, like they actually give a response in that because like that gets all the heat off of them where there's like, yeah, no, like this guy really messed up, you type of vibe, right? You know?
Yeah.
And so, but for this guy, like he's not particularly a high profile content creator. Like, I don't know, he's got like, you know, it's not trying to roast people's metrics or numbers or anything, but it's just like, you know, he's not like some crazy big someone that everyone knows in Destiny 2 type of energy or whatever, right? So they just respond with the code of conduct. They just say, you know, they are at least confirming, you know, they're not like egoing the guy, but they are confirming like we did. They're basically saying we double checked. Here's the code of conduct, but they're not
he
going to
did
say
something
anything more. Yeah, like you did something. And so at that point, everyone should be like case closed, but he doubled down with a response, and then they doubled down with a secondary post, this time a screenshot, which is funny that they went the URL and then the screenshot, and we were making a joke. We're like, what are they going to say?
Same thing.
Yeah, the same
exact
thing.
thing.
Yeah. I was like, what is next? They're going to type it out, right? No.
Yeah, literally.
Like, what's happening here? And so, and then we got the evidence brought against him, and oh my, people came out swinging. So we had these Discord screenshots of him stream sniping.
Yeah, it's two main things.
Yeah, that it was the heaviest one was the stream sniping at first.
Oh, I think it was the other thing.
That one, that one, the other thing I think is actually the reason why. I think that the secondary one wouldn't actually get you banned because it's kind of hard to prove. You could, you know, and so, and maybe it's not even written in the terms of service stream sniping. I would have to read, you know, the actual thing. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember stream sniping.
In the terms of service, it is, I believe.
It is because here's the thing. I think they actually do Bungie bounties where they make you stream snipe people. You know what I'm saying? So
I can read it.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead.
It's personal attacks, harassment, stalking, impersonation, or bullying of other members of this community or Bungie representatives.
So harassment,
number 3.
Yeah, but it doesn't say specifically the stream sniping. So it's like
no, but they've like specified it.
Yeah.
In like interviews or like in a.
I agree that it is harassment, and that's why I categorized it as. But in my mind, I was like, you know, the stream sniping is interesting because we do the Bungie bounties where you're supposed to stream snipe people. Obviously, you're not stream sniping maliciously, but you're supposed to watch their stream and be like, aha, you're in Brazil and I'm in Brazil and I'm going to queue now because I want to get the emblem or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's how they do. They literally do stream sniping. Bungie has people stream snipe to get the Bungie bounty emblems, and that's a fine thing because it's not malicious.
Yeah, that's like a event that happens. What this guy did,
he's trying to get people to beat this random, like this poor girl that didn't deserve any of this. And every time they win, they're gonna give him $10. Like
he tagged everyone in his Discord and told them all to stream snipe her, and he'd pay them for beating her because she beat him in like comp the day before.
That's
or
bad.
Something like
that's really
crazy.
Bad.
So I don't think that's what got him banned.
That's some small pain energy right there.
No, 100%.
That's pretty bad.
That's definitely not what got him banned. But it was the thing that blew up first. Like that was what came out first against this.
We kind of thought that was the storyline, and I was like, that's enough to get someone banned, especially if that evidence was like presented to Bungie. I imagine they could do a personal ban.
Yeah.
The secondary evidence that was brought against him was much more in line with a break of terms of service, though.
Yep.
which was him. He's on vacation apparently, and then there's evidence that he obviously was like playing and being recoved, and so
Yep.
it's like, so you're on vacation, you're doing recovs, like that will get you banned. So makes sense. But was
Yep.
that exactly it? Was there anything more than that?
No, yeah, that was it. Because he said he would be on vacation like the whole weekend or whatever, and then he like did one trials card on like Sunday night,
Ah,
which is
yeah.
like, no, that wasn't you.
That's funny.
It was to like keep his win streak from the look of it. That's so goofy, bro.
That's
What are we
pretty
doing?
tough. That's pretty tough.
Yep.
That's crazy. And then his friends, I did an update video, all of his friends get banned, and he
Yeah.
apologizes, and then he deletes his apology. I don't know if you saw that. He apologizes, deletes
Oh, he
his
deleted
apology.
the apology.
He
I saw
deleted
the
it.
apology.
He apologized. I was
Take
like,
it back.
I was like, this guy is being the better man. This is a good choice. And then he
Yeah.
deleted it. I was like, why did you delete it? That was the right thing to do. And then all of his friends are like, what the I got banned too. I shouldn't be banned. 8,000 hours on my account. I'm like, that. I'm like, stop. Like, as if somehow saying how many hours you have helps the cause or something. But, oh, I have 12,000 hours. I don't deserve this. Like, what? Like, you can have 1,000,000 hours. What does that matter? You broke terms of service. So all of his friends
He
get banned
deleted the
too.
initial apology, but
Yeah.
it appears he's made 2 more.
Oh, 2 more. Oh, so maybe he.
Yeah, 2 days
okay.
ago. I guess
I don't know
maybe he just like reworded it.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know. Whatever. It's weird.
I
It's in
have
2
no clue.
different tweets. Not
I
even in
gotta-
the same thread.
I gotta follow up, yeah, on that. But that is funny
Yeah.
that it was deleted.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so then that just tells you clearly, though, don't break terms of service. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, don't
He's
be
banned.
stupid, pretty much.
He's banned. Yeah, especially like I thought to myself, I'm like, why even like what does beating this person do at all? Like they're trying to go
Right? Like
they're trying to play comp to get to the emblem that's like really rare, apparently, right? Like everyone wants this emblem, right? Supposedly. And there's a lot of cheaters at the end anyway, so it's like it's already going to be a nightmare getting it. We know how bad it gets at the end, lots of cheaters, and so you already have that issue to go through, that hoop to jump through, let alone you just randomly match people and beat them legitimately, and then they're pissed at you now, and now you got to deal with harassment and stream sniping, and it's like, okay. That's why I'm so glad I'm not even in that playlist trying to get that emblem right now. In my mind, as a competitive guy, I want to get that emblem. There's like an inkling, there's like an iota of that energy left in there. And way back in my brain, you know, back in the 1v3 days, I'm like, I could do that shit. But now, but then I realized, I'm like, all the drama and all the BS that would go into me doing that, I'm like, I do not want that. I don't want that.
That playlist is so bad right now anyways, man.
I don't want to deal with losing to people and them being weird like this, right?
Yeah,
like I don't want to deal with losing or beating people and then being weird like this. Or matching the cheaters. Like that just sounds like a trifecta of fuck no. I'm not going in comp and getting this emblem. I don't care.
I'm good.
I have the garden emblem. I'm good. I have the art guard.
There you go.
I hang on to my guard emblem forever. So yeah, that was the whole issue of that. If you haven't seen that, it was pretty crazy. Let's get on to the next part here because actually we'll need you to lead me with this one. What happened here? Destiny 2 team been talking about it?
So this replied to one of my buddies who was doing like I think it was solo run, solo flawless run or whatever, and he had like a crazy ad track to Legionary like 500 feet behind him when he went for a well skate, and just like tweeted like, you know, we should probably like keep looking into this or whatever because they said they were last month, and it's nothing big, but the Destiny team responded, little confirmation that the team's talking about it, no promises for short term, but I was like, thank God, like they care about this issue because sword ad tracking is the bane of my existence and many others.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good to see them just like continuing to talk about this because I think they did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just glad they're looking into it.
So the topic for the chat, just to clarify, is that you swing your sword with the eager edge and it obviously tracks onto ads, which is just obnoxious. If you're using that, which I think most people at this point are like, you know, are you trying to get across places slow or fast? You know, you swing the sword, you know.
The issue comes to when it's things that are like completely off your screen or like off your radar or like under you or above you or, you know.
Absolutely.
That
and
type of stuff.
It's going to be a really crazy revolutionary idea I have here, right? The sword, when you're not near anything, it swings to make you go fast, right? And then if you're near something, it track onto them. So why don't we just separate the two functionalities, you know? So I know it's a pretty fucking crazy idea. You could easily just make an exotic sword that does the eager edge like lunge without the tracking. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's two functionalities in one, right?
Are you just saying like remove the tracking from
you could separate it with a new perk or with a new exotic sword, or you could just separate it, because it's not like it's one functionality, right? The sword swings and hurls you forward with no ads nearby. It's like that's the functionality we like, and that's like the speed we want. And then
right.
when there are ads nearby, it has a secondary functionality where it then decides to track onto them, which is what we don't want.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wild situation because I use the tracking like to my advantage sometimes. Like if I need to, I don't know, stun nonstop with like a gold steel sword, shit like that. So it also helps like the tracking. So it's definitely a hard thing for them to fix. But I'm just glad they're looking into it.
Well, I'm saying they just make a whole new perk even if they really wanted to. Like if they want to just that perk, because that perk has some things that maybe some people like for some reason. I don't know. Like for example, if they change that perk to not track on ads, someone might be mad out there. There might be that one guy who's like, damn, this was my favorite thing to do.
Right.
So you could just create a whole new perk called instead of eager edge, just fucking, I don't know, edging something. And so edging Edgar. There you go. Okay.
There you go.
And this perk just hurls you forward. That's it. And there you go. That's what I'm saying. Problem solved. Pretty crazy idea.
Yeah. Revolutionary.
That alone would solve it. You just get a new sword. It gives you something new to grind for too. A new sword in the Grandmasters too. So there you go. You got something to grind for.
Oh, there you go. You place on the cell. Exactly. 8 minutes.
You get people in there. Perfect. All right. That was everything that we had for Destiny topics. If we missed anything, again, tag on Twitter.
Could do
what else?
One thing I didn't have in there for Destiny was just like general story stuff, I guess, from the first week. I forgot to write it down.
Go ahead.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember like literally what happened. Oh yeah, that Zebu cutscene that played.
That went hard.
Cool.
Yes.
He talked. That was, thank God that dialogue.
She yelled.
That shit got cut. Yeah, like always. It was great.
All caps. I'm like, this is what we're missing out on.
Classic. Yeah. Well, because I mean, when does she talk? She talked in like Ghost of the Deep was the first time I think, and then like Season of the Witch, something like that. So thank God she's back. Missed her dearly. Story was good. We got 2 weeks left. I pray they don't fumble these next 2 weeks.
This is going to be insane. We're going to have to presume. I mean, it's pretty obvious where it's going, right? The navigator, like we've talked about it so many times. Like, I don't think there's any plot twist to it, even really. Like, it's just so, like, we know we're leaving, and like we have to have a means to leave. You know, it's like,
I mean, like there's a big ship right there.
It's like,
hey.
They couldn't have made it a little any more obvious, kind of where it's going. I mean. Right. It'd be kind of cool if there was a crazy plot twist. Imagine if the ship gets like destroyed randomly and we're like, fuck.
Well, you know, like the thing that they can play around with that I don't really have a prediction for is the characters. Because I mean, like Oryx wants to go to Fundament. Sabathin wants everyone to just do their own things. Even wants Oryx to stay. The new Taken guy sounds insane. There's like some more lore on him this week. He got like not a name but a title. It's like some fucking Lovecraftian shit, dude.
Okay.
He seems cool. Yeah, they got like his origin story in the lore book this week. He like the Taken willed him into existence over like the last 10 years because they wanted a leader so bad. He just kind of like showed up. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
He just showed up. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, they spawned him like in the Ascendant plane because it's like super dark.
That's interesting. In there. That's interesting, like lore of his origin story. You know?
Yeah, they were so desperate for a leader that he just they willed him into existence.
Wow.
And they're not supposed to have like a will. That's the whole point of the Taken. So that was cool. That was a cool reveal. Cool. I like the whole architecture, art direction around him too. Like the eyes and the tentacles, I think are sick and very unique.
Okay.
So I hope the character sticks around for a bit because he seems chill. Well, not chill, but he seems cool.
Yeah, there's got to be a new big bad. You know, I mean, the Witness goes down, so we have to have. You know, I mean, presumably we're the good guys in the story, so obviously there's got to be the bad guy, you know, like it's kind of, you know, obviously there could be more nuanced than that, but it's like generally, right?
So. No, this thing sounds cool. Just give me a cool design. Don't give him puppy dog eyes and a giant unibrow, and we're good, honestly.
Yeah, I want my final raid boss. I want him to be really evil looking. I like bosses. I might be weird, but I like bosses that are just like evil, demonic,
Yep.
like
Yep.
sadistic.
Well,
Like they do cruel things for no reason. Like
mhm.
they're just cruel for, and it's like that way you just hate them. You're like, this motherfucker, you know?
The witness concept art for the raid was outstanding. I don't know if you've looked at it. There's one where he's like a giant dog with like fucking beady ass eyes. That shit was crazy. The giant octopus cloud version of him looks like Galactus from the shit Silver Surfer movie.
Hmm.
That one was
I
cool. There's
did
one
like
where
his
face.
smoke head. I thought
That's
that was sick.
the best part of his design. I mean, the body's fine. It's literally just the face that is
Yeah.
like, I don't know what they were thinking with the whole.
I don't
I mean,
know.
I've
I
looked at
think
so much art
I
of
think
him where the eyes are just like beady
I
and
th
like pupils. It does.
I think the idea behind it was, and I'm just cooking it out of nothing out here, but it's like they're like
Yeah.
cat eyes, like Puss in Boots eyes. Like I know it sounds ridiculous, but I was joking. It's like they're like Puss in Boots eyes, and cats are like apex predators, weirdly. But so they're like they come across looking like really sweet, you know, like you pet a
Mhm.
cat, but then they're actually the apex predator of their like thing or something like that. I don't know. I guess maybe in my mind I was kind of drawing an allusion to that, where it's like maybe it doesn't look so alarming upon initial view, but is actually like the peak of,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Kind of like those, like that dichotomy there, maybe. I don't really
Yeah.
match exactly with his character necessarily, but
Yeah.
I kind
Well,
of thought maybe that was the vibe they were getting on the undertones, at least.
yeah. I didn't like the design really from the start of the character. I like just like the face, honestly. I think that again, like the smoke head stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
And it looked well in game. It was rendered like honestly a lot better than I thought it would end up looking. So that was cool to see it play out.
And then the lore behind it too, where it's like there was all the people
Yeah.
that like combined into this like one being. I was like, oh,
It made sense. If you look in the group chat, I sent the shit I
yeah, I
like
see
real
this
quick.
now.
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
the
dude.
tentacles
The
of
second
the.
picture, bottom left one, is what they should have went with for the raid. Dude, it's horrifying.
Oh God, yeah, he
Uh,
looked like a giant serpent.
yeah. Yeah, no, the
Yeah,
concept art was crazy.
yeah, he could have
I
been
like what we
a
got
lot
though.
more
I think
evil.
what they did with the
His
design
head was cool. His arms
was
very
good.
cool. His body, everything is, yeah. Just really, just the eyes were in the unibrow was kind of an
It's a
interesting
little
choice.
goofy. But yeah, no, the new Taken character like named itself in this week's lore book. It's the Lord of Every Nothing. It's a hard ass name.
Interesting.
Yeah, fucking Stranger Things ass
Yeah.
boss. So we'll see where it goes. But I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Cool.
Uh,
Very cool.
yeah,
Nice.
that's
Now,
the Act 3 story recap.
yeah. Marathon news. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't followed the ARG that much, have you?
I have not. I just saw on
Okay.
Twitter people trying to figure it out, and I'm such a new. What is the ARG? What is that? What is the ARG? Can you explain this to me,
It's
like
just
a
like
dummy?
I mean,
Because I am.
I probably know like a fragment more than you, but I can attempt to explain. It's just kind of like I think shit that you decode I think
Ah,
is like
got you.
what it would boil down to. Because I know they saw like a bunch of models for like some of the guns
So it's a
and stuff like
word
that
for
the
that
other
means
day.
puzzle, basically. Like a
Yeah,
puzzle?
it's pretty much just like an
Gotcha.
expensive puzzle.
Okay. Because I saw they were like decrypting things, and in my mind I was like,
Yeah.
"Get Scaro on the job." I was like, call
Yeah.
him up. Where's he at?" And so, but I don't know if they've solved that yet. Actually, I'm curious about that because I was.
Yeah, it's just like a form of puzzle solving, is
Gotcha.
what it says when I look
It
at
said
the
something about
description.
frontiers. It said, I don't know if you saw that. It said frontiers.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was
saw
like,
that one.
oh, they're yeah, some cross promoting maybe. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they just now, as we were doing this podcast, like an hour before, they're like,
Yep.
Saturday, April 12th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. They're doing a gameplay reveal stream, so that's gonna be interesting
That's
on a
the big one.
Saturday. That's gonna be a big one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna be 1 p.m. So an hour after reset on Saturday, which is a good time for Destiny players because there's not really anything going on Saturdays.
Right.
So I think they're kind of. I was wondering if they were gonna co-align with marathon stuff, with Destiny stuff. Like I feel like the marathon
thinking about
reset, if there is one, it's gonna not be Tuesday at the reset time. Like it's gonna
Oh,
be
that'd
some
be
other
funny
time.
if it was. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
probably
gonna do it
Thursday or
some other
something.
time. Yeah, they
Um,
separate the two, right? So that way you can be a marathon player and be a Destiny player. Like that's kind of their
Yeah, I think
that's their goal, I'm sure.
everything they've showed surrounding this game so far has been like outstanding. I think like the art
Artistic.
direction
Yeah.
and well, they did the soundtrack
Okay.
reveal the other day, and it sounded great. I mean, it sounded like exactly what I want out of like the Vex tracks for the upcoming Destiny DLC.
I mean, Bungie just
honestly.
doesn't miss with that. Bungie could
um,
just they never
Oh
miss
my
with
god,
this
their
stuff. So.
music. I wouldn't know who composed it. That was my only thing. Was like they didn't say.
And to be fair, it's like obviously we know I was giving this criticism when Salvatore left. He was amazing,
Mm.
but it's also like
Yep.
Bungie just has a good team and like
Yeah, what's
good
crazy to
taste
me
for
is
this type of thing, you know?
my favorite Destiny soundtrack is Final Shape, and it's the one that he did 2 songs for.
Yeah.
The rest of it's like Josh Mosser and Sky Lewin and Roden
Yeah,
Moab.
they
All those guys
clearly
are
they're
great.
super well like their level of like in touchness with like music for video games is just like excellent, you
Oh,
know.
it's
And
outstanding. Yeah, I
artistic
could
style, skyboxes. No one's ever complained about this stuff, you know.
nah, yeah,
But this
that's the
genre of
stuff.
game though, we'll see. This
Yeah, that's the
extraction
kicker.
shooter. I can't help but feel
That's
like
the kicker.
obviously the Destiny 2 of extraction shooters, right? What Destiny 2 is to looter shooters for extraction
Yeah,
shooters, Escape from Tarkov. I can't help but feel like they have
Tarkov, and
already
there's like
taken their
Carbon,
game to
wasn't there?
such a high extent that I wonder what holes Bungie's trying to fill that they never could fill. You know, I wonder.
Yeah,
But to be fair,
it's
to their credit, to Bungie's credit, and it's just a purely a business standpoint, is that they're not competing against like a juggernaut. Like imagine you had to compete against like Fortnite. Imagine they're like trying to do a battle royale
yeah,
right now.
true.
Like that's like a multi-billion-dollar empire where they're like collaborating with everyone. Like competing against Fortnite right now is a suicide wish
Yeah, yeah,
for your
you're
company.
dead.
You're just cooked, you know, like there's
Yep.
nothing you're gonna do. That genre is just owned, and even that subgenre, or not subgenre, but the games that are second and third there are also doing very well. Like PUBG and those games do well, also some.
Mm,
But this genre, I mean, Escape from Tarkov is definitely, I'd say it's known and talked about, but it's not like mainstream. Like you wouldn't go, like you can go ask a grandma like if they know what Fortnite is, and they're like, yeah, you know, like, but you can't ask their
yeah.
grandma what freaking Escape from Tarkov is. They're gonna be like, huh, you
Oh,
know,
uh-huh.
you're not gonna know. So like when grandmas know the game name, you know, you don't want to compete against that.
Yeah.
But Tarkov is so
The
unknown,
only
and that's where they're jumping into this. I think there's a chance they
yeah,
could pull it off.
the only extraction shooters I know are Tarkov and DMZ, and that's it. That's where the
Yeah,
list ends. There's not like a whole lot of competition here.
yeah.
And obviously like Destiny's gameplay has been one of its best aspects for its
That's what I'm
lifetime.
saying.
So
That's what I'm
like I hope
saying.
it's good.
It's a
I
recipe
hope
for
it's good.
success, actually, right?
It is.
It's a recipe for at
Um,
least what I think what Bungie's actually doing in some ways is you don't have to have the most successful thing to be successful, right? Like you don't have to be
yeah.
number one. Like Destiny 2 is far from number one, and it made them
Mm,
3.6 billion from Sony, right? You know, so it's like
yeah.
they're realizing like they don't have to, they can shoot for the stars and land on the moon, right? Type of thing. So
Yeah.
they can do the same thing with this. Like they can take what they're good at, pump it into a new genre, and if they at least just land on the fucking moon, right? If they just have some moderate success with this genre for
Yeah.
longevity, then they're good. And then they have Destiny 2 that goes on in perpetuity forever and ever and ever, by the way, never Destiny 3. We're not talking about Destiny 3. That's not a thing. Destiny 2 forever and ever and ever, new expansion, etc., new solar system, etc., new weapons forever. And then
Yeah.
Marathon forever. And then Bungie has 2 revenue streams in perpetuity. And then they launch
Yeah.
project number 3 where they just delve into
Gummy
whatever,
bears.
who knows what, if even that, right? That got transferred over to Sony now, I believe, if I followed the
Yeah.
news correctly. But so we'll see. But I think that I
Yeah.
think there's a possibility. I'm excited because the energy at least behind Marathon right now is at least kind of good. There was a time there where
Right.
people are like, like there was no one excited about Marathon, but now the devs are like, we're actually excited about this. It's like good, like all right, let's see it now. Like let's
Yeah.
see
The
some
more
gameplay.
the devs are excited, the more people are gonna be excited. I think
Yeah,
that's just like generally how it works.
yeah.
So we'll see.
That's what we want to see, and I want to see in this climate right now. Is a scary time to launch a game though, for sure, because
Yeah, it's on its way.
people are so critical
GTA
right now.
6.
People are so critical right now. People are just smart too. Like
Yeah, true.
everyone I know in my friends group, you, other people, like you just have so many other games to compare to that it just makes
Yeah.
you like a sophisticated critic, you know? You're like, oh,
Mm,
this is the UI of this one, or the inner systems of this one, or the mechanisms of this one aren't comparable as this game, etc. Right?
yep.
And so you just have all this stuff to compare to that it has to
It's
be
also
it has to do so well, you know?
yep. I love playing like a Destiny boss for the first time, and I'm like, oh, it's similar to like this guy from this game, or
Yep,
whatever.
exactly.
Like
Yep,
for my
exactly.
Risk of Rain players, Mithrix and Roll.
Dude,
My Remnant players, Harsgard and the Witness.
did you
That's it.
see Did you see my post on Instagram of Sunder Doctrine
No.
and Link? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna send
No?
this to you. I have to send this to
Okay,
you.
please do.
Kate, if you can message this to him. Oh my gosh, there's a Link, uh, Zelda, right? Zelda the game. There's a level in it where you move lamps, right? You move the circle lamps and it moves the light
Oh,
to connect them.
yeah, I see the vision.
And you literally move the lamps to move them. And then there's another one where like the pillars are shooting you, and it's literally the second encounter where the pillars are shooting you, like they're
Oh,
beaming you
really?
with lines. And
That's funny.
the jumping puzzle is the same too. It's like
Yeah.
4 or 5
I
things
feel like
are exactly the same as that, and I was like, damn, Bungie straight.
yeah.
They went kind of close on
Sunder
this one.
Sunder definitely because it's more like a puzzle dungeon, so it's gonna fit more into the realm of like a Zelda game. You know, with like all the puzzles and stuff. So
Yep.
I can see the
Oh,
similarities for sure.
dude, it was
It's funny.
so this thing went mega viral on Instagram. Like it had like 15,000 likes, which like Destiny posts don't
Really?
even get that. It was
Yeah,
insane. Like this was like
that's
number
funny.
1 trending Destiny 2 post.
Mhm.
And because we did a side-by-side comparison of the Destiny 2 gameplay and this Legend of Zelda gameplay, this like old Legend of Zelda that no one would think of, right? But
Yeah.
someone out there thought of it and shared the idea with us, and we're like, what? And so yeah, she added this in here, right here. Yeah, well, click on this, and I'll share this
Mhm.
with the chat. I'll share my screen with the chat here
You're right.
in just a second. Yeah, let me know what you think about this.
Yeah.
Let me pull up capture card here. I just want the chat to see this because this is very similar to what we were saying.
Chronological too, huh?
Yes, I'm saying
Funny.
the steps, like the architecture, the lamps are being connected, the light beams are
Yeah.
connected back to connect the puzzle through. The freaking the rolling circles that kill you, right? The meatballs.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
like,
funny.
what?
Mhm.
And then the beams that were beaming down on them, I was like, what is this?
I
Like,
think yeah, any kind of like dungeon-esque thing
that
in a
made me
game
laugh.
will have that like same vibe, but it's really funny that it's the same mechanics back to back.
That made
That's
me
hilarious.
laugh. That made
Yeah.
me laugh. Yeah, it has almost 6,000 shares alone. This post is like, this is like top 10 most
numbers.
viral Instagram posts in Destiny 2 category. Like I couldn't even believe the numbers this is doing. This is insane. But yeah, isn't that funny? Right? So we were talking about that in terms of plagiarism. What were we saying that before that into what they were doing? What's the lead into that?
What
What were we?
Oh,
What
it's
was the
just
lead
like
into that?
bosses that are similar. Like
Oh,
the Risk of
yep,
Rain final boss is very similar to Roll.
yep,
The Remnant 1 final boss has very similar like attack patterns to the Witness and Salvation's Edge.
yep.
So
So
it's
it's
always
like
fun to just see those
reinventing
similarities
the
like transcribed.
reinventing the wheel is going to be hard. It would be nice to
Yeah.
see, and as soon as one game does it, then the other games are going to like follow suit and do like comparable things, right? You know. So
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be difficult. I think that Marathon, a new game launch right now. Honestly, I don't know the future of games right now with new stuff, because new stuff is tough to break in right now. It's tough to break
Yeah,
in.
true.
You have all
I mean,
this
it's
other.
just
You have like established
um,
the establishment. You know, the established
yeah.
IP and stuff. You know, that's tough.
It depends on how close they release this to GTA 6 too, because that's the you gotta dodge when that shit's coming out, man. You gotta go before it. If you go after it,
You got to go after
it's
it.
over.
If you go after it, you got to wait a year or 6 months.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what they cook up with that. There's a chance they cook
100%.
up something big, and I'm optimistic. You know, I don't like to be so pessimistic. I know everyone's, you know, games culture and stuff, but for me, I'm like, you know, we'll see what happens. I think there's a chance that this game does well, and who knows, maybe it does so well it helps Bungie out. Maybe they grow their company. Maybe it helps Destiny 2 in the long run. Like they grow bigger and bigger, and maybe by
That's what I'm saying
extension,
too. Like
you know.
if it has a good launch, then like it could just help Destiny 2 monetarily as well.
It has a good launch.
So
Bungie cancels all Destiny 2 projects, goes double down on Marathon. I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding, of course,
yeah,
but I'm joking. I don't want that. No one wants that. They would never do something like that, but it'll be interesting to see. I think it's just interesting to see because these new games right now, you know, they don't have. There's some of them have longevity, some of them don't, and there's a lot of competition.
yeah, there is.
A lot of competition for the same game or the similar game or a similar genre or similar people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Audiences that carry over well. We'll see. We'll see.
Truly a game of we'll see.
Yeah. And so that's all from marathon stuff. We're gonna have to wait until we see more. Obviously, we got little tiny trailers, sneak peeks. I think that was everything for this week then. Yeah,
pretty light week.
This is a very light week, I would say. Maybe next week there'll be more. We'll have to see. Obviously, it's just week 2 of Act 3, so there's going to be at least story. Other than story, though,
that's it.
Yeah, we're gonna be. It might be marathon news again. You know what I'm saying?
True.
I guess we will have seen the trailer by then. So.
Yeah, the Warframe Studio Digital Extremes has been sponsoring so many Destiny content creators because they know it's like,
they know now's their time.
Season's winding down. We gotta get them.
Sneak in there. This is a strategery right here. This is smart. I respect this. The Destiny player base, when they're burnt out on Destiny 2, Warframe is like the next best thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you're done, when you're tired of eating McDonald's, you go to Burger King, right? Like, I don't know. It's right there.
I've never understood why. And now that I play Warframe, I understand less why the audience carries over so well, because the games are so fundamentally different. Like, it's really crazy to me.
They should have, this is a great point. They should have not psychoanalysis. What am I thinking of? Some brain expert study the brains of what triggers when you're playing Destiny 2 and what triggers when you're playing Warframe and why. And then we need to study what happens when they play Fortnite and why it doesn't pop off the same fucking neurons or whatever up there. And then we can dissect what what marathon needs. You know, we'll study the brain and we'll like give you this in marathon.
You're a genius.
That's what I'm saying. We'll give you this. We'll give you the battler right in marathon and see if it fires off the right fucking hit. You know, I'm saying we'll study people's brains. This is smart.
I like where you're going.
Somehow we got to figure it out, because definitely Destiny players, when they are burnt out in the game, they play Warframe. There's a huge carryover. If you're a Destiny player and you're like, tell all your friends, hey, let's go play Fortnite, it's like you're not gonna get like anyone. Like maybe one guy shows up if you got like a big friend group. But if you're like, hey, let's all go play Warframe, everyone shows up. They're all there. They're like, yeah, let's go. We're there. Like 10 minutes later, everyone's in Warframe. So the carryover is incredible. And
it is.
Some games just have that partner game, that sister game, but
it
is an interesting thing to see. So I'll probably be playing Warframe some this week, if I'm being completely honest, because there probably has nothing else to do. So I need to catch up. I need to unlock some frames. I need to do some campaigns, and honestly, I just need to figure out what the hell's going on in this game, because I'm like, all right, still a little. I'm such a blueberry or a fucking, what is that, Tenno?
Yeah.
Baby
the thing
Tenno.
Anyone will tell anyone that's playing Warframe is, if you vibe with this game at all, play until you do the second dream quest, and if you don't like it, then you don't like it, but you got to get through that at the bare minimum.
Very good. All right, that's probably where we're leading, unless maybe the timeline for Rat of the Nine gets pushed earlier. You know,
yeah, true. We're a month out, I think, on the dot, aren't we?
Yeah, it's
May 6th.
It's long. It's going to be a rough 4 weeks. Hang in there. And I appreciate you, and appreciate you doing the podcast and catching up.
Of course.
If you want to follow Crimson, the links will be down below. His Twitch is on the screen there. Feel free to follow him. He's super knowledgeable friend. We break down and talk about all the topics in Destiny. You know, texting, not like especially in-depth breakdown by any means, but you know, we talk about the things that happen. And so we're like, why we should just talk about this for a podcast, because it would be fun. And I think fun. There's a lot of people, maybe not now, like we're growing. It's like it's the beginning stages, you know. We're growing it.
Sure.
But more people are going to want to talk about the things that happen in Destiny, especially as they find this like outlet where they're like, this is where it's all happening. This is where we can catch up on everything. Like, say you didn't play Destiny at all. There's so many people that tell me this, by the way. They comment this on my videos. They say, I don't even play this game anymore, but I follow you and subscribe to you because I just want to know what's going on in the game. Like, because they're busy with life, they have kids all of a sudden, they got a new job, etc., and they just want to catch up on the game. This is that for you. This is the whole week is caught up in 1 hour, so you can be like, what happened in the game this week? And you're like, oh man, this crazy drama. Oh, this guy got banned, and oh, this new update dropped, and this new god rolls in, and everyone's burnt out on grandmasters, and oh, they're doing contests. Like, we're catching you up. This is it. Like, it's gonna take a while for people to figure out that this is the spot to listen and catch up with. But once they do, then they'll be like, they won't miss this. This is in my mind, I'm like, they won't want to miss this. because I think so many people have Destiny is like this weird game that's like a touch point, right? Everyone's touched and played
Yeah.
Destiny a little bit, and they kind of like it, and they kind of like the story, but they maybe don't have the time commitment to keep up with it. So
Sure.
this is that time commitment. Let's do the Q&A if there is any Q&A or any questions here, and then we'll be done with it.
It'll be nice too when we get to like the big release weeks and stuff. Like that'll be
Oh,
fun, you know.
Oh yeah. And we'll get to.
Like I'm sure if we did one for the final shape launch, that would have been like a 3-hour episode. Actually, we would have still been in the raid. Never mind. That would have been a Monday.
Good. The Destiny show rocks, and we need Destiny and sequel. Perfect. Yeah, let's get Ultimate Viper. All right, we appreciate the comments. Good. I think what's going on? We're doing the podcast. Good. All right, that's it. We are done, and that's wrap. Make sure to subscribe, smash like button. See you in the next one. Later.